Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Do you want to speak English but feel nervous, stuck, or afraid you'll make mistakes? Maybe you understand English when you read it, but when it's time to talk, your mind goes blank? Don't worry, you're not alone. In today's video, I'm going to guide you step by step on how to start speaking English confidently, even if you're a total beginner. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll feel ready to have a real conversation in English. So, grab a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's do this together. Chapter 1. Why speaking English feels hard and how to make it easier. Hey there, and welcome again. I'm really happy you're here. If you're someone who wants to speak English but feels like it's just too hard or too scary, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to walk with you, step by step, and help you understand not just how to talk in English, but also why it feels so difficult sometimes, and how we can make it easier together. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you wanted to speak in English, maybe in class, at work, or just with a friend, but your mind suddenly went totally blank? You knew the words. You had practiced them. But when it was time to actually speak, nothing came out. Or maybe you started speaking, but then you got nervous. You were scared to make a mistake, so you just stopped. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. This happens to so many people, even people who've been learning English for years. The first thing I want you to know is, this is normal. Speaking a new language is not just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about confidence. And confidence takes time. It takes practice. It takes small, daily steps. So don't worry if it feels hard right now. You are learning. You are growing. And that's something to be proud of. Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to speak English isn't because they don't know enough English. It's because they are afraid. Afraid of being judged, afraid of looking silly, afraid of making mistakes. And you know what? I get it. That fear is real. But here's something I want you to remember. Every English speaker, even native speakers, makes mistakes. All the time. That's not a bad thing. That's just how we learn. Think about when you were a child learning your first language. You didn't sit down with grammar books. You didn't worry about pronunciation or sentence structure. You just listened, copied what you heard, and started talking. Sometimes your sentences were wrong. Sometimes people corrected you. But you kept talking, and that's how you got better. That's exactly how you can learn English too. Not by being perfect, but by speaking, trying, and making small mistakes every day. So let's do a small activity right now. Wherever you are, at home, outside, on the bus, I want you to say this out loud with me. Ready? I can speak English. I'm not perfect, but I'm learning. Every day I get better. Let's say it one more time, and louder this time. I can speak English. I'm not perfect, but I'm learning. Every day, I get better. Great job. Saying this out loud is not just practice, it's a message to your brain. It's like planting a seed of confidence, and when you repeat it often, your brain starts to believe it. And when your brain believes it, something amazing happens. You stop waiting to be perfect and you start speaking. Let me tell you a short story. One of my students, her name is Maria, moved to Canada a few years ago. She studied English for many years, but when she arrived, she was afraid to talk. She told me, "I feel like people will laugh at my accent. What if I say something wrong?" So she stayed quiet for weeks. Then one day she did something very small, but very brave. She said "good morning" to the bus driver, just 2 words. And you know what happened? The bus driver smiled and said "good morning" back. That little moment gave her a spark of confidence. The next day she said, "How are you?" to a classmate. A few weeks later, she was having full conversations. And today? She speaks English at work, with friends, at the grocery store, even on the phone. So remember, fluency doesn't start with big, fancy sentences. It starts with small, simple steps. That's how confidence is built, one short conversation at a time. Now here's something else I want you to understand. Fluency doesn't mean speaking fast. It doesn't mean using big words. It means speaking clearly and naturally, without too much stress. It means someone can understand you, even if your grammar isn't perfect. You don't have to sound like a native speaker. You just have to be understandable. That's the real goal. Let me show you how powerful simple English can be. Imagine this short conversation. You meet someone new and you say, "Hi, my name is Anna. What's your name?" They say, "I'm Jack." "Nice to meet you." You say, "Nice to meet you too, Jack. Where are you from?" They say, "I'm from Canada." You say, "Oh, that's cool. I've never been to Canada." That's it. You just had a real English conversation. And it didn't need any difficult words. It was real. It was friendly. And most importantly, it was communication. And that's what English is all about. Now let's practice a few sentences together. I'll say them, and you repeat after me. Ready? "Hi, my name is Anna." You repeat. "What's your name?" Repeat. "Nice to meet you." Repeat. "Where are you from?" Repeat. "Cool. I've never been there." Repeat. Excellent. You're doing amazing. Practicing like this, speaking out loud, even alone, helps train your mouth, your brain, and your confidence. So now, let's take a small challenge. After this video, I want you to find one moment, just one, where you say something in English out loud. It could be hello to a stranger, or thank you at a store, or even talking to yourself in the mirror. That one little moment is your first step, and tomorrow you can take the next step, and the next. That's how we grow. So now that we've talked about the fear, the mindset, and how small actions create big changes, it's time for your next step. Because starting a conversation is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll talk about how to keep the conversation going, what to say next, how to ask questions, and how to sound natural, even if you don't know many words yet. Are you ready? Let's keep going. And remember, you're not doing this alone. Chapter 2. How to start a conversation in English. Simple, everyday phrases. Welcome back. You're doing amazing so far. And if you're still here, that means you're serious about improving your English. So, let's keep going together. In the last part, we talked about confidence, fear, and how even small steps, like saying good morning, can lead to big changes. Now it's time to take another step. Let's talk about how to start a conversation in English. Now I know, starting a conversation in any language can feel scary. You don't want to sound strange. You don't want to make mistakes. But here's a little secret. Most conversations begin with very simple, very short phrases. You don't need big vocabulary or perfect grammar to start talking. All you need are a few easy lines that you can use over and over again, in school, at work, in a cafe, or even online. Let's start with the most common one. Hi, my name is... That's it. Just that. So try it now. Say it out loud with me. Hi, my name is your name. Good. Now let's add one more line. What's your name? Repeat. Hi, my name is Anna. What's your name? Perfect. This is the most basic and powerful way to start a conversation. And the best part? It works everywhere. You can use it with a new classmate, a coworker, or someone at a party. It's short, friendly, and natural. Now let's keep going. After someone tells you their name, you can say, "Nice to meet you." Try that. Nice to meet you. Now the full conversation looks like this. Hi, my name is Anna. What's your name? I'm Jack. Nice to meet you, Jack. That's a full 3-line conversation. And it's real. This is how native English speakers talk too. No big words, no pressure. Just natural conversation. Now let's learn one of my favorite questions. Where are you from? It's simple, and people love talking about their country or hometown. Say it with me. Where are you from? Now imagine the person says, I'm from Brazil. What can you say next? You can say something like, oh, cool. I've always wanted to visit Brazil, or that sounds interesting. Do you like it there? These are natural responses that show you're interested, and interest keeps the conversation going. Let's pause for a moment. Do you see what we're doing here? We're not trying to memorize big chunks of grammar. We're learning real sentences that you can use in real life. One sentence at a time, one question, one reply. That's how conversation starts. Here's another great question you can use almost anywhere. What do you do? This means, what is your job? Or what do you study? It's polite and very common. Let's practice. Repeat after me. What do you do? If someone says, I'm a student, you can ask, oh nice, what do you study? If they say, I'm a teacher, you can ask, that's great. What do you teach? Again, it's all about asking simple questions, showing interest, and listening. Now let's put it all together in a short dialogue. I'll say both sides, and then you can repeat after me. Hi, my name is Tom. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Anna. Where are you from? Oh, really? I've heard Spain is beautiful. What do you do? Cool. Do you enjoy your job? Let's try it again. This time, I'll pause so you can repeat each sentence. Hi, my name is Tom. You repeat. What's your name? You repeat. Nice to meet you, Anna. Repeat. Where are you from? Repeat. Oh, really? I've heard Spain is beautiful. Repeat. What do you do? Repeat. Cool. Do you enjoy your job? Repeat. Great job. You just practiced a full, natural, beginner-friendly English conversation. These kinds of dialogues are your best friend when learning English. You don't have to create everything from your head. You can use patterns, repeat them, and make them your own. Now here's your speaking challenge for today. After this video, I want you to do this simple exercise, either in front of a mirror or just with your phone. Say out loud, "Hi, my name is your name." "Nice to meet you." "Where are you from?" "What do you do?" "Do you like it?" Try to say those 5 lines out loud like you're talking to a real person. It might feel a little strange at first, but trust me, this kind of practice builds confidence fast. And the more you do it, the more natural it will feel. And remember, the goal isn't to sound perfect. The goal is to be understood. When someone understands you, that's a successful conversation. You're not here to impress people with big words. You're here to connect, to share, and to learn. Now, before we finish this part, I want to give you one final tip. Smile. Yes, that's it. When you start a conversation in English, a smile makes a big difference. It shows that you're friendly, confident, and open to talking, even if you feel nervous inside. A smile breaks the ice, even when your words are simple. So now you know how to introduce yourself, ask about names, talk about where someone is from, and ask about jobs or school. These are real, useful phrases that will help you in so many situations. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. In the next part, we'll go even deeper. Because starting a conversation is great, but what happens next? How do you keep the conversation going naturally? What if you run out of things to say, or don't know how to respond? Don't worry, I've got you covered. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. See you there, and keep practicing. Chapter 3. How to keep the conversation going, even if you're a beginner. Welcome back. So, now you know how to start a simple English conversation. You've learned how to introduce yourself, how to ask someone their name, where they're from, and even what they do. That's a big step. And if you've practiced those lines out loud, give yourself a pat on the back. You're making real progress. But here's a common question I hear from many learners. What do I say after "Hi, how are you?" Or, how do I keep talking when the conversation begins? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. How to keep an English conversation going naturally and confidently, even if your English is still basic. So let's start with one very simple idea. Ask questions. That's it. When you ask a question, the other person will talk more. And when they talk, you get a chance to listen, learn, and think of your next response. It takes the pressure off you. You don't have to do all the talking. And the best part? People love talking about themselves. So when you ask someone a question, you're actually making them feel good. You're showing that you care, that you're curious, and that you want to connect. Now I know what you might be thinking. But I don't know what questions to ask. Don't worry. You don't need a long list. You only need a few simple, friendly questions that you can use in many different situations. And I'll give them to you right now. Let's go back to the example we used before. You meet someone new. You say, "Hi, my name is Anna. What's your name?" "Nice to meet you, Jack." "Where are you from?" Jack says, "I'm from Canada." Now what? Here's where you use a friendly follow-up question. You can say, "Oh, really? Do you like living there?" Or, "What's it like living in Canada?" Or even, "I've never been there." "Is it cold all the time?" These are very simple sentences, but they keep the conversation going. You're showing interest, you're learning about the other person, and you're giving them something to talk about. This is exactly what real conversation sounds like. Let's try another one. You ask, "What do you do?" If they say, "I'm a teacher," what can you say next? You can ask, "Oh, nice. What do you teach?" Or, "Do you like teaching?" Or, "How long have you been a teacher?" See how easy that is? One answer becomes one new question, and just like that, the conversation keeps going. Let's pause for a second. Think about what we're doing here. We're not just memorizing random phrases. We're learning how to stay in a conversation, naturally and without stress. These small follow-up questions are your secret weapon. You can use them in school, in a cafe, at a job interview, even online. They work everywhere. Now here's something important to remember. You don't always have to talk. Listening is just as powerful as speaking. In fact, good conversations are 50% talking and 50% listening. So when someone answers your question, listen carefully. Show interest. Smile. Nod. You can even use small phrases like, "Oh, really? Wow, that's cool. Interesting." These small words show that you're listening, and they help the other person feel comfortable. That's how you build real conversations and real relationships. Let's practice a short conversation together. I'll say a line, and then you repeat after me, okay? "Hi, I'm Tom. What's your name?" Repeat. "Nice to meet you, Anna." "Where are you from?" Repeat. "Oh, cool. I've always wanted to visit Spain. Do you live in the city or the countryside?" Repeat. "Sounds beautiful. What do you do?" Repeat. "Wow, that sounds interesting. Do you enjoy your job?" Repeat. "Great job." See how smooth that sounds? It's just one sentence at a time. No pressure, no rush. You don't need to sound fancy. You just need to keep the conversation moving, one small step at a time. Now let's talk about something that really helps. Being curious. That means you're interested in the other person's answers. You want to know more. Curiosity makes conversations feel real. It turns small talk into connection. For example, if someone says, "I work in a hospital," you can say, "Oh, are you a doctor or a nurse?" "How long have you been doing that?" "That must be a difficult job." "Do you like it?" Again, you're not changing the topic. You're going deeper into something they said, and this shows that you're paying attention. People love that, and they'll want to keep talking to you. Now, let's talk about a mistake many learners make. They try to memorize a lot of complicated sentences before they can even use the simple ones. But guess what? You don't need big vocabulary to have a great conversation. It's better to be clear and simple than to use big words and get stuck. For example, You don't need to say, I'm currently employed in the medical field as a healthcare provider. Just say, I work in a hospital. Simple is good. Simple is powerful. And simple is fluent. So here's your practice challenge. After this video, I want you to say 5 full sentences out loud. You can use these. Hi, I'm your name. Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like your job? What's it like living in your country? Practice these every day for the next 3 days. Say them in front of a mirror, or record yourself on your phone, or even talk to a friend who's learning English too. This kind of practice will help you speak more smoothly and confidently. And don't forget, it's okay to pause. It's okay to take your time. Real conversations are not fast. Even native speakers think, pause, and take breaks. What matters is connection, not speed. All right, you're doing fantastic. You now know how to start a conversation and how to keep it going, even if you're a beginner. You've learned to ask follow-up questions, listen actively, and speak with confidence. But what happens if you don't understand the other person? What if they speak too fast or use a word you've never heard before? Don't worry. That's exactly what we'll talk about in the next part. How to deal with those difficult moments without feeling shy or embarrassed. Let's keep going. You're on the right path. Chapter 4. What to say when you don't understand English without feeling embarrassed. Welcome back. And let me say this right away. You're doing a great job. If you've made it this far, you've already learned how to start a conversation, how to keep it going, and how to sound natural, even with simple words. But now we're going to talk about something that happens to every English learner at some point. No matter if you're a beginner or even an advanced student. You're in a conversation, and suddenly, you don't understand what the other person just said. Maybe they're talking too fast. Maybe they have a strong accent. Maybe they're using slang or a new word you've never heard before. And in that moment, your brain freezes. You don't know what to do. Should you just smile and pretend? Should you stop the conversation completely? Should you run away? No, of course not. You don't have to feel embarrassed, because not understanding is normal. It's part of learning. And today, I'll show you what to say and do in those situations, so you can keep the conversation going with confidence. Let me tell you a secret. Even native speakers sometimes don't understand each other. Yes, really. People ask each other to repeat things all the time. So, you don't have to feel like a failure if you miss something. In fact, asking for help or clarification is a sign of confidence, not weakness. It shows that you care, that you're paying attention, and that you want to understand. So what can you say when you don't understand someone in English? Let's practice together. I'll give you a few simple, polite phrases that you can use in any conversation. These are easy to remember and very common in real life. Ready? Say them out loud with me. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say it again? Could you speak a little more slowly, please? I'm still learning English. Can you repeat that? What does that word mean? Can you explain that in a different way? Good. Let's say one more together. I didn't understand. Can you say it another way? Now let's break these down. The first one, sorry, I didn't catch that, is very natural. It doesn't sound too formal, and it's something native speakers say all the time. Catch here just means understand or hear clearly. So you can say it with a smile, and no one will think anything is wrong. The second one, could you speak more slowly? Is great when someone is talking too fast. It's polite and clear. You're not telling them to stop or be quiet. You're just asking them to slow down a bit. Most people will be happy to help. In fact, many native speakers don't even realize when they're speaking too fast until someone kindly tells them. Now let's try this in a real situation. Imagine someone says to you, "Hey, do you want to grab a bite later?" You've never heard grab a bite before, and you're not sure what it means. What can you say? You could smile and say, "Sorry, what does grab a bite mean?" And they'll probably say, "Oh, it just means go eat something, like lunch or a snack." Now, not only did you understand, you learned a new phrase. That's a win. Let's try another one. Imagine someone says, "I'm swamped at work today." You don't understand swamped, so you say, "I'm sorry, I don't know that word." What does swamped mean? And they say, "It means really busy." Again, you've learned something new. This is how real learning happens. Not from just reading books, but by asking questions in real conversations. Now, I know it can still feel a little scary to admit when you don't understand something. You might think, "What if I look stupid?" But here's what I want you to remember. Asking questions is brave. It means you are actively learning. It means you're not just a passive student. You're someone who wants to improve. That's powerful. Let me give you one more tip. If you don't understand a full sentence, it's okay to ask for just one word. You can say, "Sorry, what does word mean?" Or, "Can you spell that word for me?" Or even, "Can you write it down?" If you're in a classroom or chatting online, these little actions show that you care, and they help you remember new vocabulary better. Here's your small speaking challenge for this chapter. I want you to practice these 5 phrases out loud. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Can you say it again? "Could you speak more slowly, please?" What does that mean? Can you say that in a different way? "I'm still learning English." Say them again and again until they feel natural. Because when you're in a real conversation, you won't have time to think. These phrases should come out automatically, just like saying hello or how are you. And here's a fun little trick. You can also practice pretending you don't understand, even when you do. For example, when you watch an English video, pick a sentence and say, "Wait, what does that mean?" Then try to guess. Then look it up. This keeps your brain active and trains you to notice new expressions and vocabulary. All right, you're doing fantastic. You've now learned how to deal with one of the biggest fears English learners have, not understanding what someone says. You've learned real phrases, you've practiced out loud, and you've built up your confidence. And that's the key. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing that you can handle it, even when you don't. In the next part, we're going to take your skills one step further. You'll learn how to talk about yourself, your life, your routine, your hobbies, and your interests, all in simple English. because talking about yourself is a big part of real conversations. So get ready. We're going to make it easy, natural, and fun. See you in Chapter 5. Chapter 5. How to talk about yourself in English, your life, your routine, and your story. Welcome back. I'm so happy you're still with me. That means you're serious about learning to speak English, not just with your head, but with your voice. And today, we're going to focus on something that you already know better than anyone else: yourself. That's right. You are the expert on your own life. You don't have to learn new facts or memorize difficult grammar. You just have to learn how to talk about your daily life in English. And the good news is, it's much easier than you think. So let me ask you something simple. What do you do every day? Think about your morning. Do you wake up early or late? Do you drink coffee or tea? Do you take the bus to work or walk to school? These are the little things that make up your day, and they are perfect for practicing English. Because everyday language is the most useful English you'll ever learn. Let's start with your daily routine. I'll give you some simple sentence patterns. You can listen, repeat, and then use them to describe your own life. Ready? Let's go. I wake up at 7 a.m. I take a shower and get dressed. I eat breakfast, usually toast and tea. Then I go to work by bus. I start work at 9 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. After work, I cook dinner and watch a little TV. I usually go to bed around 10 p.m. Now you try. Think about your day and build your own version of those sentences. You don't have to copy mine. Just follow the pattern. You can say, I wake up at 6. I go to school. I eat lunch at 1 o'clock. I study in the evening. Simple, clear, and natural. Let's add more details. You can say, on weekends I like to relax. I go shopping with my friends. Sometimes I visit my family. I also enjoy watching movies or reading books. These are things you already do, so just describe them, like you're talking to a friend. That's what real English is. Now let's practice talking about your hobbies, the things you like to do in your free time. Here are some useful phrases. I like reading. I enjoy playing football. I love listening to music. I'm interested in photography. I sometimes go hiking with my friends. I'm learning how to cook new dishes. Do any of these feel like you? If yes, great. Use them. If not, just change the activity. The sentence pattern stays the same. You can say, I like painting. I enjoy dancing. I love swimming. I'm interested in learning English. Yes, that's you. Now let's talk about your personal story. Where you're from, how long you've been learning English, what your goals are. These topics often come up in conversations. Let's go through some more sentence patterns together. I'm from Brazil. I live in Sao Paulo. I've been learning English for 6 months, 1 year, a few weeks. My goal is to speak English fluently. I want to travel, study, and meet people from other countries. I'm learning English because it's important for my job. Try saying these out loud right now. You don't need to be perfect. Just speak. Speaking is how you train your brain to get comfortable with English. You can even mix and match these phrases to create your own little introduction. Hi, I'm Maria. I'm from Colombia. I live in Bogota. I've been learning English for 4 months. I want to speak English fluently so I can travel and meet new people. There you go. That's a full introduction. Simple, clear, and impressive. And you can do it too. You just need to practice it a few times until it feels easy. Here's your speaking challenge for this chapter. I want you to record yourself answering 3 questions. 1. What is your daily routine? 2. What are your hobbies? 3. Why are you learning English? You don't need long answers, just a few clear sentences for each one. You can do it in front of a mirror, on your phone, or even with a friend or language partner. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be real, to speak from your life, from your heart, in simple English that feels natural to you. Now I want to talk about one last thing, mistakes, because I know what you might be thinking. What if I say it wrong? What if my grammar is bad? But let me tell you something important. Mistakes are part of the process. They are not something to be afraid of. They are something to be proud of. Because every mistake you make is a step toward fluency. It means you're using English. You're learning, growing, and improving. So don't hide from mistakes. Welcome them, learn from them, keep going. All right. Now you know how to talk about yourself in English. Your routine, your hobbies, your goals. You've learned useful sentence patterns, real-life examples, and you've practiced speaking out loud. This is real progress. This is how you become confident in English, by using English to express yourself. In the final chapter, we're going to bring everything together. You'll learn how to end a conversation politely, how to practice English every day, even without a partner, and how to build real fluency, one simple sentence at a time. Trust me, you're almost there, so don't stop now. Let's finish strong. I'll see you in Chapter 6. Chapter 6. How to end a conversation. Politely. Daily practice to speak English fluently. Welcome back and congratulations. If you're still here, it means you're serious about becoming a confident English speaker, and that makes me really proud of you. Now let's talk about something many learners forget: how to end a conversation in a natural and polite way. Because in real life, we don't just say hello and keep talking forever. Sometimes, we need to say goodbye, move on, or end the chat. But here's the problem. Many learners don't know how to do that in English, so they just walk away or stop replying. But don't worry. I'll show you exactly what to say and how to say it with kindness and confidence. Let's start with a simple situation. Imagine you're talking to someone, but you need to leave. Maybe you're busy. Maybe you're tired. Maybe the conversation is just done. What can you say? Here are some polite and natural ways to end a conversation in English. It was really nice talking to you. I should get going now, but I hope we can talk again soon. Thanks for the conversation. I enjoyed it. I have to go now, but let's stay in touch. Take care. Have a great day. Simple, right? These sentences are friendly, respectful, and easy to use. Let's practice one together. Say this out loud with me. It was great talking to you. I'll see you next time. This kind of sentence leaves a good impression. It shows you're polite, confident, and comfortable speaking English. And that's what we want. Now, let's say you're texting someone in English, maybe online, maybe in a chat group or a language exchange. How can you end the conversation naturally? You can say, "I need to go now. Talk to you later. Thanks for the chat. Have a nice day. I'm going to sleep now. Let's chat again soon." Again, the key is to be friendly and polite. People will appreciate your kindness and they'll want to talk to you again. Now that you know how to end a conversation, let's talk about what happens after the conversation. And this part is very important. Because speaking English isn't just about one conversation. It's about building a habit, practicing every day, improving a little bit more, step by step. So, here's the big question. How do you practice speaking English every day, even if you don't have anyone to talk to? The answer is simple. You talk to yourself. That's right. You can practice speaking English alone, and it works. Let me show you how. You can start by talking about your day. Every morning or evening, just take 5 minutes and say what you did today, or what you plan to do. You can say, "Today I woke up at 7 a.m. I had coffee and eggs for breakfast. I went to work and had a busy day. Now I'm home and I'm watching a video to improve my English." That's a real speaking exercise. You're training your mouth, your brain, and your confidence, and you can do it every single day. You can also record yourself. Use your phone, press record, and talk for 1 minute. Talk about anything, your plans, your hobbies, your favorite movie, something that made you smile. Then listen to yourself. You'll notice where you pause, where you feel unsure. And little by little, you'll fix those things. Another tip is to use shadowing. This means you listen to someone speak English and then you repeat exactly what they said, like an echo. You can use YouTube videos, short clips, or even this video. Just pause, repeat, pause, repeat. This helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and speaking speed. And here's something powerful. Write your own scripts, like the ones we used in this video. Simple dialogues. Practice them out loud, then change them. Make them about your own life. This makes the English more personal and more powerful. Finally, make English a daily part of your world. Put English labels on things in your room. Change your phone language to English. Listen to English songs and try to understand the lyrics. Watch English shows with subtitles. Read short English stories. The more English you see and hear, the more natural it will feel when you speak. Now, before we finish, I want to remind you of something very important. Fluency is not a goal you reach one day. It's something you build, a little bit every day. You don't need to speak fast. You don't need to use big words. You just need to speak clearly, naturally, and confidently. And that comes from practice. Let me give you your final speaking challenge from this video. I want you to record yourself saying a full introduction, using everything you've learned so far. Something like, "Hi, my name is Alex. I'm from India. I live in New Delhi. I'm learning English because I want to work in Canada. I wake up at 6, go to work, and study English in the evening. I enjoy playing music and watching movies. Nice to meet you. Try it. It doesn't need to be long. Just make it yours. Do this once a week and compare your recordings. You'll see progress. And that's the best motivation.